It seems to me, as I've been talking to you, that you shaped the lives of children during your service as a counselor and a teacher, but you were also the past national president of Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, and the purpose of this organization is to bring together children in social and in a cultural environment. Tell me about your experiences with this organization.
Well, I was taken into Jack and Jill when my oldest child was 4 years old. He was a boy. And I liked the idea that the objectives for the Jack and Jill is for all children. So whenever we were trying to get rules changed, it was not just for black kids. It was for all children. We did a lot of good service projects in the days when the March of Dimes, infantile paralysis, and we would help black kids and white kids. And I like that because, as I said, volunteerism has always been one of the things that I've enjoyed doing. And in a relatively short period of time, I think the first position I held was treasurer, and then I probably correspondence secretary within my chapter. And it didn't take long before I was vice president and then president in my chapter. And I would like to go to the regional and state conferences that we had, because you learned a lot of things about blacks all over everywhere and the organization and all. And then I went to a national meeting, and I thought to myself, well, you know, this is really a great group of women, and I would like very much to participate at a level higher. And so I was called on. I held a certification in parliamentary law, and I was asked to serve as a parliamentarian at the national conference. And apparently I impressed people because, you know, I had studied our bylaws, studied the area bylaws and the national bylaws. And so when I ruled on something, because you rule and give it to the president, and they said that I handled things very fairly, and the whole thing ran smoothly. We moved on time. That's what a parliamentarian is supposed to do. And so before I knew it, my area had put my name in to run for national president. And so I said to them, I think you're wasting your time. They said, we don't think we're wasting our time. And I had one parent, one of my mothers, that she was a real go-getter. So she said, we're going to get the literature, and we're going to go there, and we're going to tell, every time they introduce me, they said, meet the next national president. I wasn't running against an incumbent. It was an open, and that I wouldn't have run against an incumbent, because it's very difficult to beat an incumbent. And so the girl from the far west, Muriel Spalding, and myself, both had children the same age, and we had quite a friendship, and we both found ourselves running for national president. And when the time came for the voting, they came out and they said it's a tie. So they voted, the parliamentarian ruled that they vote a second time. Came out, it was a tie. So the third ballot went in, and I appreciated the national president, because she said, I will not break the tie, because I'm going out. And you will break the tie, I will not, because it'll show preference. And so then on the third, we both got up and talked, Muriel and myself, and we said, whatever happens, if I become the vice president, you automatically, this is 7 offices, so you would automatically become the vice if you lost out as president. And we each pledged to one another on the floor that whichever way it went, we were going to stick together. And we did. And it was a very nice experience, and right away we took a look at what was happening to money that we raised and gave to various, we gave the NAACP, we gave to this, we gave to that. We had no control over it. I mean, we were raising $40,000 and $50,000 a year and giving it away, and only get a little credit with that organization. So then we hit upon the idea that we would have a foundation. Then we would take the money in, legal foundation, and we could give money away, and we could say where it would go. And that created a second organization, because then you had the Jack and Jill of America and the Jack and Jill Foundation of America. And at the time, I may be a little bit off on this, I think we were the first group. Now, I don't know about the sororities, but I know for most of the groups, we were the first one that created a foundation. And when I left the chair after having been 2-term president from 66 to 70, we left better than $250,000 in the treasury. And that spurred the women. Then every chapter has to send in money every year and that. And to my knowledge, it's still going fine. And so all the time, it was just funny because all the other women wore fur coats. I didn't have a fur coat, and I wasn't going to buy a fur coat just because I was made national president, because I couldn't afford it. I had 2 kids ready for college and all that. And so they said, "Are you going to get a fur coat?" I said, "Just look at the one I have on and call it ermine." And so they got off of my back, because most of them were women of means, whose husbands was physicians, lawyers, judges, and all that kind of thing, my immediate board. But they soon learned that clothes was not my forte, that success for you and your organization is, to me, and the organization has continued to grow. And I think we need it more in areas like this, because the black professionals don't live close together like they used to. And they work in all these different environments, and their children never see other black children. They go to private school. I know with my grandchildren. They go to private schools. You go to a mixed population at church. And so unless you belong to an organization like this, your child could come up and not have very little experience with other black children.